Hey, welcome to another episode of Disrepair. In this episode, we're going to take this sports car and make it look even sportier. Yeah, we're working on a British car here. It's a 1958 MGA. It's owned by a friend of mine, Kyle. He bought this car back in before 1980. He drove it up until about 81, and it was parked until just recently when I started restoring it for him to bring it back to mostly original. So what are we going to do today? We're going to take this original windscreen, and we're going to cut it down, and we're going to give it a race look by adding a shortened windscreen, and I'll show you the step-by-step process. A couple tools you'll probably need before you even get started. You'll need some sort of plastic mallet, rubber mallet, something that's a soft hammer that won't cause damage to any of the parts you've got. Also, you need a couple variety of straight screwdrivers, Phillips screwdriver, a marker. First thing you want to do, there's a number of screws around the perimeter of the windshield, and they're held in with these little brackets. And if you can see these little brackets, they've got some little machine screws in them, and they're fine thread here. So on each corner, you'll have a couple screws, about 4 to take out here. There's going to be approximately 4 there, 4 here, and 4 here. Now after you get those screws taken out, oh yeah, let me back up one step. Before you can get to those screws, you have to take off the side panels, and they're held on with screws as well. And these are side specific, so you've got a driver's side and a passenger side. And I guess that depends on if you live in England or not. You can flip the windshield over and just use a rubber mallet or soft mallet to knock these off. These tracks come off. I went ahead and wrote which side they come off of before I get started here. You set this windshield aside. One interesting thing here. This car was last driven in 1981. There's your Texas inspection sticker. So another thing that's good to do, because when I was taking this thing apart originally, almost all the screws either stripped out, rusted, or broke off. I went and pre-ordered this screw kit from Moss. Moss is an MG supplier. It comes with all your fasteners, all your little screws, and everything. It even comes with a diagram where each screw should go, what length it's supposed to be, and how to put it together. So very useful. Here's the new windshield. I went ahead and opened the package. Now you can see it's just a straight piece of plexiglass. It's considerably shorter than the original. Now remember, once you cut your original window frame, you can't go back. So make sure you're committed to making this a short windshield before you get started. So I like the look of it, so we're going to do it. Interestingly enough, this windshield comes from a place called Phillips Plastic. I bought it off eBay. He even hand signs a letter saying thanks for the purchase when you get it. He sent a load of instructions here. One thing I found interesting is that they don't really go in order. So it's kind of like page 0 shows the screen, then it jumps to page 14, back to page 1. He said that the measurements are very important. So here's what he's talking about, the side piece. So this is the passenger side. You would take from the very top here, and you'd measure down 8 5/8 inches and mark it, okay? And I was going to use one of these rather than a tape measure. I just feel like it's probably easier just to set it on the dimension you want and to slide it to where you need it. So that's what we're going to do first. 8 5/8, okay? Right there is 8 5/8. So the reason I use this hose clamp, and it's kind of a trick for pipes too, you can put a hose clamp on there and then you can tighten it down and it'll stay perfectly perpendicular to the surface. So I use that, and the reason I'm doing that is because I don't have a bandsaw. I'm going to have to cut this with like a cutoff wheel. So I want to make sure when I cut through it, it's very straight, okay? This is your first step to the process of ruining your original window frame. Okay, so we've cut through this. We'll set this one aside. We're going to belt sand off and round the corners off next. So that's the next step. So Before you install the new windshield, you want to put some weather stripping in this channel to close the gap so the windshield doesn't rattle around. Remember, this piece of plexiglass is flat, so you'll probably want to get a buddy to help you press it into that frame so you can hold it so it doesn't spring out while you're trying to put it together. Once you have the glass firmly placed in the bottom part of the frame, you can go ahead and reinstall the side pieces using the new hardware you bought. Alright, there she is in all her glory. We got the windshield installed. It's chopped down and made shorter. I think it looks pretty cool. Kind of makes the car look like it's going fast even when it's just sitting still. I will give you a word of caution though. If you're over 5'9" and you drive this thing on the highway, you might have to wear goggles to keep the bugs out of your eyes.
We're there.
But I still think it's a cool improvement. It's definitely a job a beginner can do with some basic hand tools, and it shouldn't take you that long to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.